for you with the legs crossed. And you can use pillows right on the outside of your thighs just for a little bit of comfort, and maybe just to help ease that opening of our hips. You can use the blocks at any height, just again, help support you, right? If we feel supported here, we may be less likely to start this slumping action, right? So we want to maintain our sits bones directly downward, pulling up through the crown of our head and finding that comfort. And you do not need to use these, right? I just want to make sure you know that if they're there, you can, pillows or blocks. Okay, I'm going to use them today. So let's go ahead and close our eyes, starting in with our intentional breath. And that intentional breath is what we're going to use through our entire practice today. We're going to rarely hold any poses today. We'll be moving in and out like a vinyasa flow, all right? And we'll be working into some parts of sun salutation as well. And I'll be using the chair first, and then I'll be using the floor. So you'll be able to stay with the chair, or you can come down to the ground. So go ahead now, take those tailbones, let them tailbone down and sits bones connected. And I'm going to go ahead and quiet myself so that I too can start to feel that centering and grounding of breathing in, fully, completely expanding through belly, ribs, and chest. And then on my exhale, contracting through chest and ribs and belly. So go ahead and take several of these kinds of breaths, please. I failed to say, but I think you know that these breaths should be coming in and out through our nose, okay? So taking those breaths in and out through the nose. Let's do 4 or 5 more. And again, check in back with your spine. Am I still staying erect in my spine? And that means I'm utilizing my core strength rather than coming into the slump, okay? All right, so let's add movement to that. And with this movement and that breath, it's like marrying those two together, right? Layering one another, becoming connected and dependent on one another, all right? So we're going to just do simple arm sun salutations. And that is going to be raising my arms up, lifting on an inhale, maybe looking to start opening up my throat and the back of my neck. On my exhale, my hands come together in prayer. I pass through my crown, my third eye, my throat chakra, my heart chakra, coming down into the solar plexus area, and then releasing, fingers out, inhaling and lifting up. And then my exhale again takes me down. And because we're at different lengths of those ins and outs, we might be floating through these arm sun salutations at different speeds. And that is all well and good. It's how we move through life at different speeds, right? So we should be able to do this also at our own rate. I'm going to be quiet now. You know what you're doing. If you need to refer back and take a look at me, but I want you to just feel this, and I want you to feel your breath aligned with your movement. Let's do 2 more of these, please. And just finding a hands at heart center. 2 breaths here for transition. And if you find yourself at all during this kind of practice being a little impatient, wondering when are we going to switch out of this, then that's our work, right? That's our work to build in that calm and that peace and practicing that patience. So now what you're going to do is, again, we're going to move with breath. Take your hands, open them, place them behind you, and already you notice you've started to open up your heart space. I'm going to push down, still keeping my sits bones grounded, but I want to push through my hands, lift chin, open heart, pull shoulders together. That's my in-breath. And then I'm going to exhale. I'm going to bring my fingers across the ground and bring them forward. I've run out of ground, but you haven't. So holding there, that's your exhale. Not holding, but bringing the hands that way. And then inhale, take them back, push down, open heart. Exhale, take them forward with your body, right? And we come into a curling and a tucking and a rounding here. That's your exhale. Fingers stay sliding on the ground. Push down, lift up. Coming back to a straight spine, and then we start to bring it forward on the exhale. I think you guys have got it now. So keep going on your own breath. Your own extension. And let's do 2 more sets, please. And then when you finish your 2 sets, come back and sit, taking a couple breaths here. And switch out your legs if you haven't already done that. Or if you're seated in a different position, maybe just change it up a bit. Find your straight spine again. And let's take some twists and side stretches with our breath again. So sitting up here is an inhale. Taking one hand to one knee pressed behind you and take a look over that back shoulder as you exhale. Coming forward, sitting up strong and tall. And taking it to the opposite side on your out breath. I think you've got that now. Keep going with your meditative breath. With that matching of your breath and your movement. Dynamic response. Making sure we're not rushing, making sure we're taking everything in and out through our nose. When we come to that center, take that long inhale before you go into your twist. Or else we're cheating ourselves out of half of our breath. Two more rounds here. If I say 2 rounds or 3 rounds or whatever, and you're only on 1 or third, just keep going until we come to meet each other back, seated, nice and tall here in our Sukhasana easy pose. And now let's take that breath, dynamic breath, and open up our side body. One hand comes down, one lifts up. This is your inhale. Earth grounding, sky, heaven reaching. And exhale. Take it over and feel your side body extending and expanding. This is your inhale. And this is your exhale. Hand comes down. Okay? I know this is slow, but it really will help us build this really good habit of coming in to that slow breath, coming into our yoga practice to bring together, harness our breath with our movement. And that's what yoga is. So we're combining pranayama here, the breath, with the asana aspect of yoga as well. And because we're really trying to center ourselves and come into that slow breath, we're bringing in that meditative process too. All 3 elements here. Real important elements of yoga. The ones mostly practiced. Let's do one more entire set of that, please. And I know for some of you really busy people, really active people, this may seem a little bit slow. But again, we're trying to work on balancing our lives through our breath, and then just coming back here. And if you've had something cushioning underneath your thighs, you can remove that. Keep block kind of close because we may be using that today. We're going to come onto our hands and knees here. So I've got a nice blanket under my knees to help me feel comfortable. And I have my knees under my hips and my wrists down underneath my shoulders. Now I want to show you something for those of you that tend to press too much into the base of your palm, and then you start to have wrist issues. We don't want that. You can take and roll the front part of your mat. Okay, you can roll it in and place your fingers on the ground and cushion underneath your palms there. Okay, so if you like to do that, please feel free. Whatever works for you. The other thing people have said is pretend there's a grape right underneath your palm and you don't want to squash it. So that means we put more weight into our fingers. All right, and now we're going to do simple cat and cow, but really working on that breath connection. Okay, so I'm exhaling. No, I'm sorry, I'm inhaling. I'm looking up, my belly drops, my tailbone rises. When I'm finished with that inhale, I bring that tailbone in and I take my chin towards my chest, opening up the shoulders. Slowly then moving into my inhale. Slowly moving back into my exhale. Again, everything's through our nose. Keep going. Not worried about anyone else's pace. Not worried at all. Right? Just breathing. Let's do 2 more sets. And let's meet back in our nice tabletop here. I'm going to keep my right knee down. I'm going to inhale my left knee up, my left leg up, like fire hydrant pose, flexing into that foot if that feels right. I'm going to exhale that knee down. Keep going. Inhaling, I lift. Exhale, slowly take it down on your exhale. And if your hands are starting to feel it, you can flip your fingers back or take them to the side or roll your mats. Another thing you can do with hands too is come on to fists if your wrists begin to bother you. Let's do 2 more here. Squeezing up into that hip and letting my knee come down. Then I'm going to work on the other side, lifting up on an inhale. Flex into that foot. I'm going to look at my knee as I rise up, and then I'm coming down. Exhale. Let's do 2 more, please. And now we're going to go from cow. So inhale up into cow, tailbone lifts. Spread your knees a little bit farther apart because we're going to go from this inhale. And then we're going to pull ourselves back, slide hands forward, exhale into child's pose. And rising up with our in-breath into cow. And taking and sliding myself forward. And the back of my thighs meet my heels in child's pose. Keep going. You guys got it here. If you're not sure, take a look at what I'm doing. I don't know if anybody's joining us here that has a chair. Well, you can take a second chair here and you should be able to go in and out of this. You might need to be moving the chair a bit to lengthen your arms. You can come into a form of your child's pose, feet grounded, and just taking your body onto that second chair. So you're feeling probably the rhythm here. And let's do 2 more sets. Really waiting until your inhale's done. And then taking yourself back and waiting until your exhale's complete. Not rushing anything. Enough time in your day-to-day to rush. And then coming back into your tabletop, we're going to inhale 1 more time into cow. And we tuck our toes and we pull up our knees and we exhale into a bent leg down dog. Okay, we haven't opened up the backside of our legs very much yet. So have your legs really bent. And then come forward and bring yourself into cow on an in-breath. And exhale, knees lift. Take your tailbone back. Exhale into your down dog. Inhaling into cow. I think you guys have this now. And then exhaling. Remember, bend those knees so that you can take some time to open up the backside of those legs. Again, if this becomes a lot, on your fists, on your wrists, and come to your fists. Or pull that mat and roll it up. But keep pressing into your fingers and less into your palm, the lower part of your palm. Two more cycles, please. And then find yourself back in tabletop position. So this is where I'm going to introduce the chair in case that is easier for you. We're going to do it through chair, and then we can take it to the floor, those of us that might want to do that. Okay, so I'm going to grab my chair, and we're still going to work on that process of moving with our breath. So find your chair, find your feet pretty close to the chair, your hands, maybe fingers on top of the chair, maybe on the side of the chair. And if you'll notice, my back is fairly parallel to the ground. Okay, so I want to have that. If you really don't want to use a chair, I know Evelyn, you might be saying, I don't really want to use a chair. You can do this as a half lift, or this is a half lift. This is what we're doing, is a half lift here, okay? So here we are, half lift, and bend into your elbows. Exhale, take your forehead towards the chair. Those of you that want to do that forward fold without the chair, please feel free, but pay attention to your core. Inhale, flat spine, half lift. Exhale, keep on going. Moving with breath. Inhale, draws you up for your half lift. Exhale, takes you down. I'm going to show that on the ground as well. Really let your head go when it comes towards the chair or towards the ground. Really, guys, please pay attention to your strong core here when we come into those forward folds to protect our lower spine. That's the other thing. The chair is really good. If your abdominal cavity is not real strong, you may not want to be going into that full forward fold. Okay? Because you can strain your back. Right? We don't want that. 2 more times. Now we're going to come back into down dog. Again, you can take it to the floor if you like, but take your feet back and come with your arms long here. Okay? You guys can pretty much see what I'm doing. So my hands right now are flat on the chair. I'm looking down at my feet that are parallel to one another, about hips distance. And maybe you're just in a regular down dog. The reason I like the chair is because I can really open my hands and push down, and I can feel that in my armpit even more. I can also get my heels entirely on the ground here in this down dog. But it depends on how far my feet walk back, okay? So if I keep walking them back, and this time I'm going to hold on to the sides of the chair, I can walk back even farther, and maybe my heels would touch, maybe they won't, but just find a good place for you here. So we are here in our down dog. That's an exhale. Rise up really high on the balls of your feet. Come forward into plank. That is your inhale. Exhale takes you back. You can do this on the ground if you'd like. You can do it with bent knees in a plank if you like on the ground. But please use your breath here. feeling that flow. Keep going. Don't think that just because we're using a chair, that we're not utilizing strength in our arms or our core. You still really are. Let's do 2 more sets of that. If you were doing that on the floor, I'm just going to show what that looks like. You would be in your down dog with that exhale, and you come forward into plank here, all right? And really, I'm not feeling a lot different there than doing it on the chair. It's still core work, still working with your breath. I'm going to go ahead and utilize the chair again. Just wanted to show you that for any of you that may not have been taking it to the floor. And now we're going to walk our feet up to the chair, or if you are not using the chair, then you're in a forward fold or a half lift here. And I'm going to plant my left foot, take my right foot back, bend into your front knee. Bend so that this front knee and ankle are in alignment here, okay? And the chair helps us to align that as well. The back foot is pushing back from your hip into the ball of that foot. So if you're not using the chair, we're in a crescent pose, and you're going to be here for a while, so you may want to utilize a chair. So we're going to press back through our heel, okay? That's going to be our exhale. Then we're going to inhale as high as we can, almost to our toes with that back leg. That's our inhale. And then press back through our heel for our exhale, and feel that in this hip flexor. Keep going. Inhale. I come a little bit higher and taller because I'm almost on my toes, tiptoes, and then I push back through my heel on the exhale. This is happening with the back foot. We're taking it slow with our breath, okay? Very subtle movement here, right? But you should be feeling this in your calf. And in the front right hip flexor. But again, our real focus is on our breath. Let's do 2 more sets here. Coming back. Taking our hands towards the front of the chair here. And we are balanced on the ball of that back foot. Kind of pushing through the heel as well. Kind of in between both what we were just doing high and low there. And I'm going to keep my right hand down. I'm going to lift my left arm up. Maybe look up. Should be feeling this in that front leg. Even though we're supporting in the chair, I'm feeling a lot of strengthening going on with that front bent leg and my back leg. My left hand comes down. My right hand rises up, feel that, yes, in the hip flexor, looking up if that feels comfortable for you. Finding your balance. Exhale down. Now let's take that with our breath. Sorry, we held that one. Inhale, lift. Exhale, hand comes down. Opposite hand. Inhale, lift. Take it down on your exhale. Two more sets, please. And then let's straighten that front leg and let's take it back. Oh yeah, there's some relief there. Take it back to our right leg and let's find ourselves in a down dog. And just walk out your knees a bit here, whether you're taking that down dog all the way to the ground or you have your hands flat on the chair. Just take and wobble into those knees and then come to stillness. Come to your down dog, wherever that might be. Breathing. We're in an inversion, even if we're using the chair, so maintain strength in your belly. Pretend like you've got, that you're pregnant, okay? And we don't want just that heavy baby flopping to the ground. We want to hold it and swaddle it and keep the abdominal wall strong so that we just don't hang there with that baby hanging. Good. And now let's go ahead and take our opposite leg forward. I believe for me that would be my right foot coming forward. And we're going to do the same thing. So even though I said, and bend into that front right knee and look at it right above that front right ankle if you're using the right side. And even though I said we're going to take this with our breath, I've got a rock back here somewhere. I didn't necessarily mean it was going to be easy. I don't know about you guys, but that one was a workout for me. So here we are. We're going to feel that opening in that back hip there. And I'm going to push through my heel on an exhale. I'm going to rise up onto the ball of my foot on my inhale. Exhale, push it back. Inhale, lifting up. Slow and steady. Maybe lifting our heads up just a bit when we come to the tiptoes. And maybe taking chin towards chest as I push through my heel, just to add a little bit of neck releasing, stretching here, but not overdoing. No compressions here, okay? 2 more times. Good. And then just finding yourself kind of halfway in between, real high and real low on that back foot. Hands are planted and on the front top of the chair. Lifting right arm up. Fingers spread wide. And let's just hold that for a couple breaths. So you get that feeling. Next exhale, let your hand come down. And reversing, letting the left arm come up. Shoulders and hips stay squared forward towards your chair. Exhale, take that hand down. Let's take this through a few of our breath rates. Inhaling, one arm up. Exhaling, taking it down. Inhale, lift the other. Let it come down on your exhale. Keep going. One more set. Straighten that front leg and bring it back. Exhale. Down dog, hands on the floor on top of the chair. Now we're going to go through sun salutation. And I'm going to show it on the chair. Do it the first time, so you can maintain that the second, third, or fourth time. And then we're going to take it to the floor, those that would like to, okay? So we're going to stand in mountain to begin with. Taking a couple breaths here, realizing that breath deep down into our belly, expanding and contracting there. Breath coming in and out of our nose. Inhale, lift your arms up high. Exhale, pull in at the navel. Come with arms out, slowly coming down, attaching to the chair. Exhale, head comes to the chair. That's your forward fold. Inhale, open up by straightening your arms. This is half lift. Exhale, coming down. Inhale, one more time, half lift. Exhale, take it down. And inhale, one more time, half lift. And walk our feet back. And exhale, downward dog. High in the balls of the feet. Inhale, rise forward into plank. We've been here before. We'll do this a couple times. Although in a true sun salutation, we would only do one and we keep going, but we're still moving with our breath. Now rise up high, come forward, bend into your elbows, exhale. Bring yourself up, inhale. Push yourself back, exhale. Let's do that 2 more times. Kind of going over the pieces of that sun salutation. When we bend our elbows, that's like the chaturanga that we're taking. Exhale here. Now we're going to come up real high on the toes, or you can flip to the top of your feet and you look up here. This is up dog. Okay? And then we're going to flip back to the balls of our feet. Exhale, down dog. Let's go through that. Inhale, come into up dog. Exhale, push it back into down dog. One more time, high, high, high. Pull it forward and flip on up. And take it back. Exhale, down. Right leg comes forward, left leg comes forward. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, let's take it all the way up. Exhale, back down into mountain. Now we'll do one fully with the chair without repeating some of those that I wanted to make sure you knew what to do. We'll do one full on the chair, and then you can repeat the third one on the chair, or you can take it to the ground. Okay. Inhale, lift. Exhale, come on down, hold in at the belly and take your head to the chair, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, take yourself back into down dog. Feet go back, tailbone back. Inhale, high into the balls of your feet. Come forward into plank. Exhale, take and bend your elbows. Inhale, flip to the top of your feet. Look up, upward dog. And exhale back, coming into your down dog. And then left foot forward, right foot forward, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, hands release, they come up. Exhale, hands come down. Standing in mountain pose. So we'll repeat that one more time on the chair, getting bit by mosquitoes. But I'm also going to show you now how that is done, not on the chair, okay? So standing in mountain, and I'm going to face this way to make sure hopefully that you'll be able to see me. Inhale, lift. Exhale, coming to the ground or the chair. Let your heavy head hang. Inhale, half lift, flat spine. Exhale, hands down. Step, jump, or walk your feet back into down dog. Exhale back. Inhale, forward into plank. Exhale, into up dog. And then take yourself back onto your down dog. Lifting right leg up or in to your chair or on the mat. Back leg comes forward. Exhale. Inhale, lift. Notice how every movement, exhale down, is paired with breath. Pulling into the navel. Inhale, lift. Exhale, doing this one more time on the chair or standing on the ground. And let's take both feet back. Down dog, exhale. Inhale, forward plank. Exhale. And then inhale, up. Up dog. Exhale. Back through plank and into your down dog. Walk, step, or jump. One foot forward, the other foot forward, and release, exhale. Inhale, half lift. So where block is really good. Exhale, release. Inhale, we rise. Exhale, take your hands down. Stand in mountain. And breathe. So we did a lot of that pairing today with our breath and our movements. And we led each of those steps into doing sun salutation, okay? And again, it can be done on the chair. It can be done grounded, all of our paws on the ground. So now we're going to take 5 minutes and do some holding poses, okay? So let's spread our feet out, take our arms out, and take our right toes towards the edge of the mat. And I'm going to go and bend that front knee. And I'm going to come into my warrior 2. And I'm going to hold this for 3 or 4 breaths. So these holding poses, still, we got to come back to that breath. Because as we're holding, sometimes we start to hold our breath. So please breathe here, okay? Breathe, even though we're not. Inhale and exhale. We've got to still know that we're breathing, right? Be aware of that, even though we're holding into this nice, stable pose here. It seems easier now that we've practiced that kind of breath work. And now we're going to take a hold of a block, if you have one available, And we're gonna come into triangle pose, pressing down into the block at any angle, or any height, I should say. Or if my hand is long enough, I can keep my alignment and I can keep control of the posture. My fingers can come towards the ground, okay? But I often like to use this because it intensifies. I can push down harder into that block for some reason. I guess I'm trying to reach the ground. And then my other hand comes up higher, okay? So I'm holding in this bent leg triangle pose. I'm gonna take my hand and release it over ear and bicep meeting here. Breathing. Pull that upper shoulder back a bit. And then lifting my arm up, pulling in here, bringing myself back up into this glorious, wonderful, strong warrior two. Straighten my leg and bring my feet forward, okay? And I'm standing here again in this five-pointed star. I'm gonna go over to the other side now, and we're gonna take that so we can continue with our breath, but in holding positions. Take your left foot, extend it outward towards the short edge of your mat, bend into that front knee. So your knee and your ankle line up, and you're pushing back into your back foot, which is at a 90-degree or parallel to the back edge of your mat. Okay, and I'm pressing solidly into the outside part of that foot. I'm gonna let my arms come up, shoulder height. And most importantly here, I'm gonna breathe. Breathing in the static pose here. Deep into my belly. Slow and controlled. Good. Seems a little easier for me at least to do this breathing now. Staying here, noticing that for 50 minutes I spent time just focused on my breath. And then go ahead and either bend your forearm, bend your elbow, place your forearm on your thigh, or take that block at any height, or you can take fingers to the ground. You can maintain a really good alignment here. The alignment is more important than the depth that we can get into our poses. So sinking down into my hips, extending my back leg really long behind me and strong. Pressing up, pulling up with the fingers towards the sky, pressing down into that block. Pulling my upper shoulder back just a bit. Finding my belly breath through my nose. Taking and extending my arm over for extended side angle if that feels right for you. Lots of leg strengthening today. Even if we use the chair, felt a lot of leg strengthening. Arm rises up, comes back, hold on here, bring myself up. Find my breath. And straighten my front leg and all toes come towards you. Hands on my hips. And wide-legged here, I'm gonna come down with my spine long, my crown reaching towards you, yours towards me. If I have that block, it'd be great to put it right in front of me and let my hands come onto that block to keep this nice half lift with long, wide legs. And then I'm going to, since my hand's on the block, bend my elbows and bring my head closer towards that block. Inhale, lift away. Exhale. Keep going. Two more times. Returning to the breath with movement. And then taking my hands to the ground, bringing my feet in, curling into myself, holding into a big, tight yoga ball here. And then lifting up, coming back onto my seat, finding myself back in where we started. And again, maybe you feel your hips are a little more open here. Maybe you want to support with those blocks, those pillows. And again, if we do that, it's going to help us maybe maintain that straight spine, maintain our breath. And let's just take 4 or 5 soulful breaths here together at the end. Then I'd like to offer the last thing that we do to our spotlight person of the month, and that's Sparky Devoler, who I read likes the word Om. So we're going to do 3 flowing Oms here, okay? So we're going to breathe in through our nose, and then we're going to Om it out. Whenever you end, you breathe in through your nose again, and you Om it out. You might not be with me, you're going to be with yourself, okay? Go ahead and begin. Inhaling. Mickey doesn't like the sound. I never homed around my dog. I didn't know it caused him such irritation. Sorry.